In Business Central, there are so many fields, and sometimes it can get a little bit daunting, and we get asked, well, what are the frequently used fields in a vendor? So let's go take a look. In vendors, we're going to go in here and just open up the first vendor. Just remembering that this is subject to personalization. There are more fields that could be available through hitting the cog and pressing personalization. Once you've hit personalize, you add field, and you'll see available fields that are currently not visible to you within the current interface. So we can see here. The other thing that's important to note is that while you're in personalization, you may want to turn around and hide some of these, or show under, show more, show when collapsed. Okay, just to clean up your interface and just make it super simple. All right, that being said, let's get into it. Customer number, not as important, you're already in them. The name, definitely important. Blocked, definitely important for payment or all. And so if you turn around and want to be isolating a customer through the system, this is a great way to do it. We have your available balances. I think from this top section here, that's really it. We're going to go to the address and contact, and it comes down to the current configuration that you have. If you are using the customer card and the vendor cards as the single source of truth for communications, it means that your email and your contact details should be up to date. All right, so we believe quite passionately that you should have a contact in here. So if I select this, I can see she's there, I can select it, I can see the email address. However, if you're using your contact card under vendors, under contacts, as the contact preference through an extension that would allow you to email invoices to many contacts, then the contact becomes super important and the customer card does not seem as important. This address here is the address of the customer. When you're running a simple configuration, this is everything. If you're going to run multiple addresses, the order addresses is where you'll be actually using this for this vendor. Okay, and you'll ship from multiple addresses to you. You have invoicing configuration, you've got taxation, you've got all of these things here. However, really at the end of the day, all that's important here under invoicing is whether you're running parent-child. And what I mean by that is this vendor is who you're ordering off, but do you then get invoiced off another vendor? Okay, so parent-child. The other thing for you here, which is super important, is your posting groups. Okay, you must set this on your vendor card for things to work correctly. Registration depends on the localization. This is an Australian feature to do with the tax file numbers and integration into the tax office. Payments here, there's some useful things. There is prepayment. If we require them to prepay all of their invoices, if we have to prepay them, we can set that to 100%, 50%, whatever it is. We can set here the payment terms code, but one thing that a lot of people miss here is the cash flow payment terms code. So if this supplier, we pay them in 30 days is their term, but we actually pay them in 14, you'd want your cash flow to then turn around and show that, hey, we're actually going to be doing away with this cash earlier than what it's saying on the system. Alternatively, you may be stretched and say, we're on 30-day terms, but we're paying them at 60. All right. Other things for us here, sales channels is to do with your site. Receiving is important. Where do we receive this into? And so this is where we could have multiple locations, and we'll be wanting to always receive the goods from this vendor into this location. What's the shipping method? Okay, and the lead time. So that's really all the important fields on the card that helps you figure this out. We've got a few other things that's important, and that would be your dimensions. Okay, and then from there would be your references, item references. So if this vendor has a bunch of product codes for your items and they're different and you'd like them to match, you use your item references. Last but not least is your document layouts. If you issue a different purchase order template to this vendor than you do by default, you'd use your template layouts. And that sums up what we would do on a vendor card. Thank you.